Hey, in this video, I am going to be showing how to use LiveDocs. It's a tutorial video and it also explains some of the interface elements so the users can quickly get started. So once you log into the system, either through the OAuth or through your own email and password, you should be taken to a dashboard that looks like this. Once you click on this icon, you should be able to see the dashboard. Now, as you can see, you can also quickly jump to different panes using these buttons. So let's try to understand each of them. Now, if you click on this horizontal 3-line bars, you should be able to see a lot of panes. The first is the dashboard, and then let's go to the repository. In the repository pane, you should be able to see a list of repositories that you have cloned. So to clone the repository, a clone refers to you are trying to take a repo URL from somewhere outside, like say GitHub, GitLab, whatever you name it, even private repository, and you put it here and you just click on connect. If this is a public URL, then it shouldn't be a problem to quickly take the data into the system. If it's a private repository, then you may have to add an SSH key. So go to the settings, change the SSH key value pairs, new SSH key. You have three options here: generate the key and add the SSH keys into the server from which you want to take your repository. We also have some integrations, so you can quickly take it from well-known service providers. So that's about the repository pane. A list of repositories, you can see the branches, you can see the status of repositories, and you can check mark a bunch of repositories. You can also click and remove a collection of them together. Let's go to the files pane. A files pane lets you browse a single repository and the files it contains. So let's take a small repository like GoTree. You can browse the source code and you can see that there's a lot of source code here. Let's take maybe another well-known repository like Python, which contains a bunch of Python files and also C files typically. So let's try to open the Python file. You can use this to filter out a bunch of files and say you want to select this particular file. It contains a lot of functions and stuff. So let's click on this file and click on this file as well, and then apply the actions, say parse file. A parse file takes a bunch of files and converts them into what is called as a LiveDocs template. A LiveDocs template is nothing but the functions, structs, and some of the components the developers likes to actually document, which facilitate the process of collaboration. Once you get into the edit plane and go to Python repository, you can see that we have parsed a couple of files. So click on this file and you should be able to see a lot of files here. So each of this file correspond to a function. So if you click on check char, it is a function, and let's maybe go to the first file, seek. So you must be able to seek somewhere, which could be a class. Yeah, seek is probably a class. So all of these are different functions. So you can write your story here and share it with your friends. You can also download them as HTML files. Okay. Now what can we do from here? Now that you have a lot of files, you can also collect a lot of these files and send them to what is called as a pocket. A pocket is a collection of LiveDocs templates with data or without the data that you can move into a folder. A pocket is essentially a folder. Now that I moved to deployments, let's go to the pockets pane and then click on deployment. As you can see in the deployment, you can see these two files from Python repository. What is really beautiful about the pockets feature is you can take functions from multiple repositories and you can aggregate them, and in future we are also going to give a share feature for LiveDocs itself, so developers can really build features from a lot of repositories, either in-house or open source. So this is a very useful tool for project managers or even day-to-day developers. Now where can we go from here? The next step is to take a bunch of these repositories and convert to what is called as static documentation. A static documentation, as the name indicates, is nothing but a documentation file created as a HTML page. So when you click on deployment, when you click on this particular file, it's downloaded. So let's open the file, and you can see it gives you a nice HTML template from where you can see which repository it was taken from, what is the line number. Since we haven't written any content, you are not able to see content in the description and stuff like that, but this is more than enough for any developer, and also a much wanted thing, so they can quickly understand what a function actually does without really getting into the source code. Now another cool feature here is you can also share this with any of your friends very easily. So let's say you want to share it with some person named cat at company.com. Just click on add, and it goes to the concerned person. I think this pretty much explains how to use LiveDocs, but let me quickly summarize. In the main dashboard, you see a bunch of buttons using which you can quickly connect your repositories and set the SSH keys. In the first repository pane, you can connect a bunch of repositories, either public or private, and apply operations on them collectively. And this is also a place where you should be changing the branches for that particular repository. Although a lot of UI features are going to be coming in the near future, this is what we have right now. Then in the files pane, you should be able to browse a lot of repositories as if, browse the code from the repository, simply put. That's pretty much all there is to it. Then go to the edit pane. This is where the actual product lies. This is the LiveDocs part, and this is the source code part, and these are the functions and classes and things like that extracted from the source code, which are usually what developers likes to document. From here you go to the Pockets page. In Pockets, you can combine LiveDocs from multiple repositories. As you can see, these are from 3 repositories. You can also browse the source code. From here, you can also export them to HTML pages, and you can also download them as zip files. So all these HTML pages can be exported as a zip file, or you can also individually download the HTML page. With this, I'd like to close the tutorial, and thank you very much for watching.